Okay. 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. 1 1. Yeah, perfect. All right, fantastic. Okay, guys, thank you for coming. It's a beautiful day. It's a fresh wind, and we're gonna start today. We're gonna have everyone say a few words, so we can share our experiences. You know, the three things that I can offer for you, but feel free to use it and then say anything else you would like to share from your experience. But just say why you're here today and how your experience been for the last 2 months or how long you've been with us, and what do you see the future? How do you would like the future to unfold? So we're going to start with Matthew just to get started, and then we'll follow the line.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming out. It's a windy, crazy day, middle of the week, and that support is absolutely wonderful. I will make a small note, I have a live stream going right there, so if we could just make sure to keep that middle line clear, we'll get this story out. And today we are trying that something new, is bringing stories from the community, that voice and that call. So again, I'm going to start with why I'm here is very simply to fight for mental health. We know that, I've been mentioning it many times, to make mental health visible, as there is a new curve actually growing that is going to be exponentially larger than anything we've ever seen in this world before, and that is death of distress, death by our own hand, classically labeled as suicide. I myself have been fighting mental health for about 2.5 years after being a service advisor for Tesla, and I've been fighting for my home, for my health, my support. It's been absolutely insane going through the system, and then to have actually lockdown come has exacerbated the mental health issues, even though it's stayed and paused my situation and given me a little bit of relief. That relief is not even worth the disconnection that I've been experiencing. I've faced my own balcony roughly about 12 times. My roommate has been struggling with relapses. I believe he's on the other side, so we need this lockdown done for all those that are surviving. I am talking to so many on the streets. I'm on day 12, accepted into a wonderful, wonderful Afro-Indigenous community that keeps me safe at night. And I am telling you that I am getting stories that people are just, they've had enough. They're barely hanging on. There are so many that I interact with that are considering taking their lives. So I am basically here to say enough is enough. So we're going to bring those stories. I would like to first welcome up Barbara. Barbara, come on up. Thank you so much for sharing. It's Barbara's first time behind a mic. Many people their first time, and it's just going to be pure messages from the heart. So thank you, Barbara.
Hello, my name is Barbara, and I'm here because I wanted to end the lockdown. Since all of this unfolded, I realized there's something wrong in the picture, and yeah, I needed to find like-minded people, and that's why I started to come out to protests, and it has helped me a lot to get support, because I do not have the support in the friends I used to have. They don't understand me. Even my own family back in Germany doesn't believe anything I believe in. I want a future for our children, a future that's real, and in a real world where they experience love and they can be together with people and not only over FaceTime. And well, that's more or less it. I just want for us to have connections with people again. And that's why
Thank you very much, Barbara. I totally feel that. I will fully admit that I thought something was wrong, and I sat on the TV and I was watching. I joined the narrative. I bounced back and forth till I really woke up. So Barbara, I just want to say that you are so special, because it's people like yourself that kept me on the straight and narrow and didn't allow me to become reprogrammed. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for knowing something was wrong and sticking to that core knowledge. We need to listen to those people that knew. Vlad is one of them. He's been calling out to us all. He's been making predictions, and well, all these health experts, so-called health experts, my question is, what makes them a health expert? That usually has people run away and say, I don't want to have that conversation, interestingly enough. But I'm going to actually say that Vlad is not an expert. He is a specialist. He's a specialist in actually seeing what's wrong and projecting it. And I will actually say that the proof is in his pudding, because there's almost nothing that hasn't come to affirmation since Vlad got up here and started speaking. It is his call that brought me to the streets. So very special thank you, Vlad. I'm going to actually welcome up Eli. He's doing some freelance recording here. So as we take the switch, definitely Eli, I'll take your camera and keep your camera rolling in the meantime. So please come on up. Some very special stories to continue.
Hey guys,
Hello.
thank you so much for coming out on this very, very lovely but cloudy day. And why I think it's important that we gather here today in protest of everything that's been going on in the economy right now. We live in Canada. We're all very, very fortunate to live in Canada. We are free, we're a liberated, independent people. But unfortunately, there are powers at play in the world that are using a climate of fear, a climate of deception and lies to lock down on our freedoms and to impose political legislations and political movements that are doing nothing but eroding our freedoms and our ability to thrive as individuals and as a group, as Canadians. And so as much as there are people on our side in Parliament, we have to remember that there are people that are also not on our side and that are working against us. And we have a right, we have a moral duty as citizens, as Canadian citizens, to stand up against iniquity and inequality and immorality. And that's exactly what's happening with us. And the problem is that it's such a multifaceted attack on our freedoms. There are so many different angles that are being foisted upon us. We have the vaccine agenda. So they're planning on forcing us to put things into our body that we don't want put into our body. We have a right to tell us, to say that we don't want harmful chemicals, harmful neurotoxins being placed and injected forcibly into our body. We have this right. And if we don't have the right to to decide what goes in our body, well, then we're lost. Right? Your body is the last bastion of freedom that you have. If they can convince you that that is no longer your right, then it's game over. And that's just one part of the agenda. And we have the economic lockdown. The war on the middle class is being waged on the middle class. God knows how long. It's been decades. You can go and find government papers, the internal memorandums being passed back and forth between these psychopaths that want to absolutely destroy the middle class. It's nonsense. And we're seeing that come to fruition now with this climate of fear. They're using this climate of fear to get you to stay in your homes and not pay attention while they work out all of their ridiculous mandates and legislations that are going to be crushing our freedoms. So we can't stand for that. And that's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. We're all unified under the same cause, under the same banner. And as much as it seems like we're under insurmountable odds, the best thing that we can do is simply say no. Right? We have to show them that we are not compliant and that we're going to do everything in our power to reclaim our freedoms and bring the economy back to normal. Not their normal, the normal that we say is normal. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Eli. Very powerful words. The fear state, the system that's going on. I'm noticing little legislations towards housing. There is something called Bill 184 that is going to fast track evictions. It is already a fast track process. So there is a massive push to bring that middle class down to the lower class and create a massive divide. And my life for the past 2.5 years is a literal case study of that. So Eli, I thank you so much, because the fear state is growing. I will ask that we remember that this narrative has been so strong. So as we ask people to come and join us, give them a little understanding that they're scared. Give put to that fear. Let them know that I am afraid too. I am very fearful for what's going on. So as we ask our brothers, our sisters, everyone to slowly wake up, as I'm watching them doing, they'll agree with the data, but then say we need to protect each other with masks. There is slow progress coming. So remember, as we wake away from that fear state, it's fearful to come to the other side. So really, as we embrace ourselves and get everyone, remember that fear state, the narrative that's going on, and that we need to support each other with love, care, and my favorite, as you put up there, Eli, unity. We must unify under this common goal to make our country ours. Thank you very much for that, Eli. I'm going to ask Lumna to come up. She's got some pretty heartfelt stories and things that have been happening to people directly to her. So thank you very much.
Hi everybody. I'm very uncomfortable right now. I've never spoken in a microphone before, okay?
Push past it.
I have felt so oppressed. If I were to tell you my entire story, it would take too long, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I felt oppressed. My parents were immigrants from Greece. I was a year old when we came here. And my father was a war child, World War II, and he believed in freedom. And that's the greatest gift he's ever given me. He shared with me all his stories during war, and he told me he left Greece because of the government. It was corrupt. He was a successful businessman, but he wasn't going to allow other people to control him. So he came to Canada and he loved this country. He always told me how amazing this country was and how developed. And he started a business right away, cleaning business, janitorial business with no language. And my brothers and I, we worked as a family. It was wonderful. But I was a girl, and my parents had old-fashioned beliefs, marry somebody who's got a, business and raise kids. And I got married young, and I didn't realize what I was doing, and married the wrong person. So I was isolated for the past 27 years until I met this group, and I've been so touched. And I don't feel alone anymore. I've always felt blessed. I always had hope, and I always took that red pill. It was my gut. I'm a very intuitive person. And I believe that the dark can never extinguish the light. So I believe that even if I have to die for this, then that's what I have to do. And I've been so inspired by everybody, and I feel very, very loved and connected. I lost a very close friend recently, this month, because of isolation, because he was pushed away and punished for choosing, his own methods of pain relief. And he was also a very free thinker, and I feel blessed that he was in my life. And he was a fighter, and I'm a fighter too. And I'm honored to be here. And I don't see how anything else could be more important than coming here. There is nothing more important. This is love. This is what life is all about. Love. And I'm here to stay. Thank you.
Thank you. I have to admit I got tied up in a conversation, but she's been sharing some of those stories, and it's exactly what I'm talking about. Is this issue is growing? It's affecting us all. Look out to your network. Start making some phone calls. If you haven't heard from someone in a while, call them. You'd be surprised how much a friend's phone call can save a life. And if you're willing and they're willing, meet up with them and give them that hug. Hugs over masks, because hugs save lives. So thank you very much, Lumna, for the heartfelt stories and sharing. And it takes a lot to come up here, and I'm just so impressed by everyone. And I'll say it, coming to the mic is a form of therapy for me, so I hope everyone gets that. I'd now like to welcome Zoe. She's been super hesitant, but going to push through that anyways. And Zoe is one of our voices of youth. Youth are the most pure voice in this. They have not been pushed. They have not been subject to everything. So Zoe, we need to learn from you. So come teach us something.
Hi, I'm in 8th grade, so I'm here because I'm very sad. I missed my graduation this year, and I already kind of knew that because of the strike, but it hasn't really gone well. The online school is really hard. I'm sorry, but it's really hard for me to talk about because I have lost motivation to do a lot of my schoolwork, and it's hard because my friends don't want to talk to me, and they don't want to meet up with me, and it's gotten really hard for everyone at my school. And today we're supposed to get our yearbooks at our school, and we're not even allowed to stay inside for more than half an hour, even though I've been there for 10 years, and that's probably the last time that I'm going to be able to go inside my school, and it's really sad, and yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here. The other reason is I don't have any family here except for my parents, and now I can't travel to see my family, which I do almost every summer, and I kind of miss them, and you know, I'm not really the best person to talk through a phone. I need social connection, so it's kind of hard in that reason, and a lot of my friends are having also troubles with their mental health, yet they don't really want to talk to me about it, and they don't really want to call me, and I want to call them, but it's really hard. I hope that I can go back to school normally for my next school year in 9th grade without wearing a mask, without having to social distance, without getting tested every single day, because that is very important. Kids need to socialize, kids need kids, and a lot of people need to understand that, because we need each other, and that's just how it works. I don't have any siblings, so I need my friends, and it's really hard. I need them. Luckily, on this protest, there are a lot of kids. Kellyanne's daughter, Gracie, she's really nice, and like we get to kind of play together, and so that's very good. But also at my place, I live in a condo, and I don't really have a place to kind of play since I don't have a garden or a balcony or anything, and my dad is on the phone all day with his work, and it's really hard to concentrate on your work and then do that stuff. So I'm really nervous about the new school year. I really hope that it goes well, and I really hope that we don't have to have all of these restrictions. Please, CDSB and TCDSB, please. I don't need these restrictions. Kids don't, okay? We're not spreaders. Just please, we need to go back to school normally. Normally, with no mask, no social distancing. Okay, thank you.
That was amazing.
Zoe, thank you. That is what I'm talking about. Is this web. We have sick kids speaking up against this issue. and now they're discredited. That's been the narrative all along. Discredit anyone and everyone who speaks against it, no matter their previous expertise. And I will say, Sick Kids is one of the foremost experts in the world on children. People travel across the globe to get treatment here in Toronto with Sick Kids, and now they are discredited. I mean, that speaks loads enough. The schools, I was segregated from my autism, and now everyone has to live what I never wished. I mean, Zoe, thank you. Know that you have a new family. Family is just not in what you're born to, but it is created, and you will have many families to come. Your friends will come back. You hang on and keep trying to reach out, because know when they do not return your call, they still know that you care, and you're saving your friend's life by continuing and doing that and not succumbing. So I want you to know that you are a hero and just pushing through and stepping up here and voicing your concern. And one of the hardest things I've done to come through is step up on this mic and cry. And I am just so damn proud of you. You are a strong individual, and to be at your age and exude what I have struggled to do, you are stronger than I. So thank you, Zoe. Yola, I'd love to welcome you up next. Thank you, you're right there. We're going to keep going. Again, this is passionate stories from the community. Please, please listen. This is what's going on in the background.
Zoe, that was amazing. You made me think of when I was in grade 8 graduating and how excited I was to graduate with my friends and that. And it made me realize the extent of how you miss your friends and just living normal life. They've taken away your childhood. What I want to say to you is, go meet with your friends. All of us should not be listening to the government. We should not be adhering to the oppression. And the thing is, it's as we all know, it's all a farce. The number of deaths is way less than a flu, and it's not even happening, and it's all a farce. And what gets me is people are adhering to it more than when the virus first came out. I see people with masks more than I saw before. So it's like they're sheep to the slaughter. It's like these people love this effing oppression. They love this effing oppression. And the sad thing is that this is not going to get any better. I'm just telling you right now. They're working on all this time they're taking is they're working on a vaccine for us. So, what I want to say to you is, we don't have friends. You have your beautiful mother. You have your mother. Go out for a walk. Gather together in parks. Just make the effort. Let your friends know the truth. It's because you can't continue to live with us. Just if everybody would do this, say that's enough lockdown, enough oppression. We're not going to take this anymore. If the government, we have to pray that the government. Can you believe I've been going to church without a mask? I will never wear a mask. I've been going to church and I've been praying for Bill Gates. I've been praying for all these politicians, Ford, who we believed in, to change their hearts. To realize that this is all an agenda, and to say, you know what, this is not right. This is like we're like adhering to the agenda. We're adhering to the Antichrist. We're adhering to the mark of the beast. What am I doing? There is life after this. We have to answer to all that we're doing. I wish we pray that the politicians have a change of heart and mind, because they can do it. They're the authorities. Ford could just say that's enough. No more lockdown. And whatever happens, he could be a martyr. He could be a martyr for Christ. This is like outrageous. It's out of this world. It's like we can't live like this anymore. This oppression has made us depressed. And what I say to you, Also, Zoe, is your name is, I was telling your mom, your name is Zoe Labre. She became a saint. She's the saint, and she lost her mother. Thank God you have your mother. You'll have her forever. She lost her mother, so she grabbed onto Mother Mary, and Mother Mary she told her to visit her, so she would visit the statue, and Mother Mary told her to make the statue, which is sorry, not make a statue, a medallion, miraculous medal it's called. And so, you know, I wish I could meet you again. I would love to give you the prayer, because your name is Zoe. I would love to give you the prayer and the miraculous medal that you can share with your friends too, because right now, I'm sorry to say, but there's not enough people. Like July 1st, you know, I'm wishing for a huge, like a revolution at Ottawa. But unfortunately, reality is that everybody is adhering. They're obeying. They're sheep to the slaughter. They're wearing masks. They're not, most of your friends, most of your even your family, people that you trusted, that you love, are not on your side. They're not accepting the truth that this is all awful. This is all oppression. This is all agenda for the mark of the beast. They're not understanding it, or they're not accepting it, or they're in denial. So the reality is that we're not. You know, unless we have a revolution at Ottawa, that it's going to be like even cause martyrs, you know, this is not going to get any better. So what we have left is prayer. We have to pray to Jesus. We have to pray to God for the conversion of these people that are involved in this agenda. And our Bible, our Bible and our prayers, that's our comfort. I pray the rosary every day. I pray to Jesus so hard. That's my comfort. Because we've lost, you know, even my sons, I don't see too much. It's like we've lost that connection, but I don't give up. Never ever give up. Like that little child was here the other day, said never ever give up. We're not going to give up in our little revolution against this lockdown, against this agenda. But we have to pray, because the days are coming where this is no longer, this plague thing, this false pandemic isn't the worst. God's wrath, because of what's going on and because of the sins of the world, God's wrath is going to be huge. There's going to be a chastisement. So let's pray and attend church. The churches are even giving restrictions, and they will have to. It's awful. The priests, even some of them are wearing masks. Like, go in there without your mask. Go in there and fight. Luckily at my church, they probably knew I'd fight it. Luckily at my church, there's no restriction that you have to wear a mask. So listen, they're trying to prevent you from going to church, but because of all these restrictions. But you say no, you go to church and you say, I'm not wearing a mask, I have health problems. So the more we fight this, and we have to fight it with Jesus, without God, it's lost. Even if we win this battle of the plague, we haven't won God's chastisement, because the world is too sinful. So we have to praise the Jesus, stay close to Jesus and Mother Mary. That's all I have to say today. I've been here all the time, but this is I've seen it. We see it with our eyes. God bless you all for fighting this. And please, it's all we've got left is Jesus in our prayer, and pray for the conversion. Thank you for all these hearts that are involved in this awful agenda of the Antichrist.
Thank you very much, Viola. That is passion. That is faith. I like to note that there are many ways to hear that. Listen openly. There are so many beautiful religions in this world, and all attempts to describe what is truly found in feeling. That is my firm belief. I choose the words creator, which is also used in the Bible. There are so many different interpretations. So remember, lean on your faith. Listen to these stories that you are hearing. Emulate to your past. Understand that you had some troubles as a child. You can feel these feelings, these emotions, this oppression, these masks. Again, a note that we do have info cards to protect you if you have those health risks and need to actually exercise that. I am in Nathan Phillips Square every night. Come and find me. I have them on me. We have the peaceful ammunition to arm you against this. So keep standing, keep fighting, keep praying, keep connecting, and it's through that connection and love that we're really going to see something different. I would like to now invite Kim to the mic. Kim, where are you at? Oh, Kim, one of the loveliest supporters early on coming out. Kim has been reaching out to me and just keeping me going. So Kim, just know that you're one of my rocks, all of this, and I thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being so brave and courageous and awake and aware of what's truly going on out there. My name is Kim, and I come all the way up from Essex Township just to be with you guys because I need you guys to keep me grounded and to keep me sane and to keep me up to date with relative information that the media simply will not put out there. To give you a bit about my background, I had a small business in Essex Township. I had it for about 6 years, and then I sold it. And our local media company hired me. And so my position was sales and doing live on-location broadcasting when it was needed. And to be our mission for the local radio station was to be the bridge that would introduce the local merchants to the residents. So we would create farmers market events and music events and family enriching events in our community. And then the local businesses would set up tables and sell their goods and services face to face with the residents. And I did that for several years. And one of my focus was on teenage mental health because in my community I recognized that we were losing 2 teenagers a year to suicide. And so being part of the chamber, I said, we need to really fill the void and be there for these teenagers because I remember how intense it was at that stage. For me it was horrible being a teenager. I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. And so we started really creating events, and so we would have music events, and the bands would be youth musicians, fantastic talent. And when we started doing that, we noticed there was no suicides, right? The teenagers, they got us our attention, they got us our awareness. And so since this has come down, it has affected my whole life. I live my life in my community. I live my life supporting small businesses. I live my life encouraging mental wellness and community because I know that love is the glue that keeps this world together. And without love, we have hell on earth. And every social distancing parameter these terrorists are employing are to keep us from loving each other and emotionally connecting because we are our own wellness. If we are connected with the community and we are loved, we don't really need doctors and lawyers and any of that stuff. We have each other. So the other thing is I have been deprogramming myself from social consciousness since my early 20s. When I was a teenager, I got wrapped up in bad things because our culture promotes, drugs and alcohol, and I went there, not for very long, thank God. And I realized that a lot of the things that my culture was teaching me was just wrong. I just wrong, and so I had to start from the beginning, and I had to deprogram myself from the social constructs that don't contribute to my health and well-being. And I had to learn, actually, really what I really wanted to learn is how do I become a totally unconditional, loving person? Because I recognized very early on that this is what we lack in this world. We're lacking love. And the more we can create loving events and situations and gatherings, that the healthier we be as a people. I went out of my way when Doug Ford was going around. I went out of my way I would travel like 2 hours because I knew he would have a rally, and I'm really pissed off that he can't give me he can't give me 10 minutes. He's right there. I'm sure he's right there. He can't give me 10 minutes, and I gave him hours of my life. He's taught me that politicians and politics is just a sham. It is sham. This is what's real. When Ford introduced the first phasing back to work, the media company that I worked for said, HR called me and said, okay, you can come back to work now. And I said, well, what are the parameters? Like, what's the working conditions like? She says, well, you still have to work at home, on your phone, over your computer. And I'm like, I'm a salesperson. You know, I can't convince you to give me 20 grand over the phone. I need to have lunch with you. I need to connect with you. You need to know that I can give you more than you bargained for the money that you give me. So I said to them, as long as you are pushing this COVID fake narrative, I will not generate 1 penny for you guys. My budget was way up there. And I'm like, no, I'm not promoting this crap. And they wouldn't even promote, like, they wouldn't even introduce the other, like our side of the story, right? There's only one narrative, and it's not even challenged from the media. So my role in all of this is to help people, to help people and help them recognize that the media is a tool to brainwash and socially engineer our opinions. They manipulate our perceptions, and they manipulate information and data for these people. And these people pay them big bucks to do that. So I went out on my own. When this first went down, I went out on my own. I went to hospitals all over Ontario. I have done no social distancing. I've hung out with thousands of people. I've shared... there's a guy here, I was so thirsty, he gave me his bottle of water, I drank from it. Like, that's how fearless you guys are. That you let me sip from your bottle of water, for God's sakes. And we're all still alive to tell everyone about it. So we need to keep up the big fight, and we need to help deprogram the people from social consciousness, from the media, and from the devil, really. So thank you for being here for me. I needed you guys so bad, you have no idea, because when I go back home, I am all alone. I've got nobody behind me. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Kim. That's what's going on, guys, is our outlying communities are suffering this exponentially because we have the city, we have the volume of people. Some of us are still able to find connection, but know that these outlying communities are suffering that mental health push more than ever before. So we really need to stand up. We need to rise. Again, suicide, I'm calling classically suicide, titling death of distress. We had 800,000 deaths of distress in 2019. There are studies known, multiple, that say that number doubles with at least 1% unemployment, if not tripling or quadrupling. We're looking at a hard 15% unemployment or more worldwide. I will allow for the compounding math with the extra stresses and suppression and everything. You see it from all the speakers, all that emotion that is unnecessary. Give it 3 to 5 years. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, not times 15. And that leaves us at 26 billion. Well, that's a crazy projection. I mean, all these so-called experts have been making these levels of projections, and I will digress, because we only ever see 5, maybe 10% of a projection when they're done correctly, unlike we've seen recently. And that 5-10% still leaves us at a quarter of the world's population gone and dead by our own hands within 5 to 10 years, if not less. So again, there is a new curve coming. You've heard the stories from the street, all relating to it. We need to stop now. Thank you everyone for coming up and speaking today. I offer my Instagram platform. If you'd like to bring your stories anonymously, open, come find me in Nathan Phillips Square. mentalhealthisvisible@gmail.com. The foundation is running. I need help, financial support. I am committing 10% to Fearless Ontario, 15% to the Indigenous Afro community that has actually welcomed me in and given me that community that Kim speaks of. I am found, I am cured, I am healed from my inner demons just simply by community. So thank you very much for everyone coming up and speaking. I'm going to ask Vlad to come and finish us off. And again, if you want to come out, get your stories out in the interim, reach me out, mentalhealthisvisible@gmail.com or at 437-772-2327, and I will get back to you within 24, 48 hours. Thank you very much. The man himself, our leader in this cause, Vlad.
Thank you, Matthew. All right. So thank you for coming, everybody. Thank you for everyone sharing individually. We really appreciate everybody's time and effort being here. Quickly want to share, before I tie up everybody else's speeches, Justice Center calls for end of Ontario lockdown. This is something very important to understand, that we actually have organizations that represent our freedoms, and they're fighting for us at this point because it's definitely been unprecedented assault on our rights and freedoms in this country. So what we need to understand is what Zoe was talking before, and thank you so much, Zoe, for speaking. Children are our future. We are here not just for ourselves, we're here for the children. Thank you. And talking about human connection, and the government really pushing against us being able to have human connection is something that we have to fight no matter what. I discussed this before. The biggest indicator for health and longevity for human beings is not medicine. It's not even nutrition or physical activity, it's human connection. Human connection is the biggest indicator for anybody to live a healthy and long, prosperous life. And when the government creates an agenda that's been taken away from us, we need to fight against it, and we need to fight for our freedom. The biggest human right we have is breathing. And they put in masks on us, completely unfounded by any science, to make sure that we have limited oxygen coming to our body. How basic of assault of a human right do we have to get to? It's important for us to understand that we're here just today, but we're here every day fighting, making sure that we are connected with each other. And this is why we're coming here. We're coming here to be with other people, like-minded people, in this time when we're being brainwashed by the government that, we need to stay safe, we need to stay distant. And that comes from the agenda of we should be fighting against our own nature. We are part of nature. Our body DNA is not even our own DNA. It's a bacterial DNA. So instead of fighting against the nature, against ourselves, we need to create harmony and symbiosis with environment that we are present to. And then the government and the so-called expert creating a bubble society, sterilized society, that actually fighting against our nature. That's going to make the society as a whole very sick and unhealthy, and create a superbug that unfortunately going to create even more disaster that's been going on. We said this before, and we're going to say it again. This virus actually is not killing even as many people as flu. However, this virus has a much better marketing agenda. And that's why there's so many people have been brainwashed, because marketing agenda for this virus has been created by the government and pharmaceutical company. So we need to understand that this is something that needs to end, and it needs to stop immediately. So with this, I thank everybody for coming. Everybody shared from the heart, and we're going to edit the clips and put it all together. So thank you, stay healthy. We have a Saturday event, and then we're going to have a family day as well on Sunday. Stay tuned for the announcements for both, and we'll love you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vlad. I'd love to welcome everybody up. Let's finish this off right. Anyone who's willing, let's get an old-fashioned group hug going. And one last note to my Afro Indigenous community I've joined. They want anonymity, they want respect, and definitely are willing to have you come and talk. But please, media, respect their anonymity. Do not go taking pictures. It's something very special. All right, thank you all.
while they're in their state. And at the same time, we have yet to see any actual action happen to address the privilege staffing.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I would like to wish you all, everyone in this park, everyone everywhere, the best of everything, always. Love you all. There you go, guys. Share, share, share. That's Stories from the Street. That is about as heartfelt as it gets. Pay attention to the new data coming out. We are still functioning off projections. We need to start embracing things and make that change back to yesterday so we can build a better tomorrow. Love y'all.